Hello, everybody. I want to welcome all my family and friends. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, we're the Habits of Health Lifestyle Hutchinson, and we're all about changing your family tree, starting with you or somebody that you love or care about. Pretty simple. Now, the reason that we're talking about this is because 70% of the people in America are taking the left-hand road up here. 70% of people are overweight and obese, and they're heading towards the fast food, the highly processed foods, and that ambulance in the back of that pile of food, rather than making some good choices. So we're talking today about breaking the sugar addiction. A couple of weeks ago, I put on a video here about sugar addiction. Is it a real deal? And this time we're going to talk about what you need to do in order to break that sugar addiction. First, to kind of review what sugar addiction is all about, uh, your body's designed to like sugar and crave it, and but it has addictive properties, just like high-powered drugs, or alcohol, or smoking, or anything they become addicted to. You eat some of those foods that maybe you shouldn't. And number two over here, dopamine is released into the brain. This is the feel-good chemical in your brain that goes to your opioid centers and gives you that feeling of being comfortable or being feeling good. And also at the same time, mass amounts of insulin goes into the blood so it can drop those blood sugar levels. Uh, and when that happens, and number three down here, the high insulin levels cause the blood sugars to be stored in your body as fat, and then you start craving that sugar high again. And then it becomes even more pronounced when you have uh, increased appetite and low blood sugars, then the cravings are back even more. So that's number four, and then you go to the step one again. It's that circle. It's what we call the oscillating structure, back and forth, round and round. Now, for our presentation today, I want you to remember one thing, that sugar and carbs work in your body, have the same effect on your bloodstream, insulin, and brain. And so we're going to consider both of them as being sugar is for the content of this video, even though it's a little bit more complicated than that. But we're just going to keep it simple today. Now, the first step is to ask yourself, and this step is the same thing that we uh, ask ourselves when we think that we decide we want to lose weight and we get healthy. First thing we do, am I truly sick and tired of being overweight, of low self-esteem, of clothes not fitting, not being able to do things that I used to do? Are you truly sick and tired of this? Are you sick and tired of sugars controlling your life? I know I was, and sometimes I had no clue why I was doing the things I was doing. All I knew that my eating was totally out of control because I was a sugarholic. The next thing to ask yourself is, do you want to have optimal health once and for all, and maybe possibly increase your lifespan? We're going to look at that in a minute here. And how important is breaking that sugar addiction? It's really very important because sugar and carbs spike insulin levels. High insulin levels cause inflammation. Inflammation causes 90% of the diseases that we have, 80 to 90% of the diseases that we have, caused by being overweight and obese, which is caused by inflammation. Now, here's a chart. I'm not going to go completely through this thing, but it just shows what would happen if a person had a healthy weight versus a not too healthy weight. One here, for example, type 2 diabetes, 83% of the time, just by getting down to a healthy weight, type 2 diabetes can be resolved. The big thing here is down here on the bottom below Barbie, I call her Barbie, is a 10 to 15 year gain in life expectancy by maintaining a healthy weight. That's huge. So you have to decide what's important to you. The three steps for ending sugar addiction are: decide your why. We do the same thing on weight loss. Why do you want to do this? Why is it important to you? Do you want to live longer so you can see your kids and your grandkids get married, have kids, graduate from college, the grandkids? Why is it important to you? Are you tired of not feeling well? Low self-esteem? And then what you need to do is set a date. Set your date 3 or 4 days from now. Don't plan on starting tomorrow because you're not mentally prepared for that yet. Give yourself a little time to get your mind and your home in order. Now, when we say your home, we mean get the temptations out of the house. Because I always say willpower works really good until it doesn't. But they've done studies and they find that 73% of people won't go out and get something that they're craving, but 93% of them will eat it if it's in the house. So get rid of the stuff, get it out of the house. In my house, it's 100%. It's in the house, it's history. I'm getting better at that, but it's a problem. So willpower works until it doesn't. Next thing you need to do is become a nutrition label ninja, because you've got to know where the hidden sugars are. And the food processors are very good about hiding this stuff, but they put it in there just the same. Now, one thing we need to know about this is remember that 4 grams of sugar is equal to 1 teaspoon of sugar. So if the label, for example, if the label says 28 grams of carb is in this serving of whatever this product is, you divide that by 4 and you get 28, you divide 28 by 4 and you get 7 teaspoons of sugar in this product per serving, whatever the case may be. Now here's a couple examples. Pepsi, for example. You notice on this one, there's 41 carbohydrates in 1 can of Pepsi. You take that 41 and you divide it by 4, you get 10 1/4 teaspoons of sugar in 1 can of pop. Next one, another one I love, potato chips. Can't keep them around. Here we have 15 carbs per serving. I might back up. The serving size is 15 chips, 1 ounce. But there's 15 carbohydrates in there. Now this one has one extra step because it has dietary fiber. Dietary fiber is non-soluble fiber. It's not as readily absorbed into the blood to cause blood sugars as regular carbs. So what happens here is we're going to subtract this. We're going to take 15, subtract 1 of the fiber. So you're going to end up with 14. 14 divided by 4 equals 3.5 teaspoons of sugar in 1 serving of chips. 1 ounce of chips. And they don't put them in bags with just 1 ounce. They put them in bags that got 3 servings, 10 servings, and I'm going to be that guy that's going to eat the whole bag. So I got to make sure I don't have this around the house too. Now, how much sugar is too much sugar? Well, the American Heart Association said the maximum amount of sugar that you should eat in a day is 150 calories for men, 100 calories for women. And this is about 9 teaspoons for men and 6 teaspoons for women. Now, 50, 60, 100 years ago, we used to do 5 to 10 pounds a year. And now each American's doing over 150 pounds of sugar. And it's no wonder we have an obesity crisis. Sugar by any other name. This means on your nutrition label, they're going to have all kinds of names for that, but you can guarantee that anything that ends in ose, like fructose, dextrose, glucose, lactose, is some form processed sugar. They name it all kinds of things to get you to get more of it. They want, food industry wants you addicted, quite frankly. So what do you eat to end sugar addiction? Well, one thing is healthy proteins. This means healthy fish, chicken, beef, pork, tofu, in healthy proportions, not a whole lot. If you eat too much protein, it can actually put your body into fat storage mode. So you want to avoid a whole lot of protein. Now, what we're talking about here is 2 to 3 ounces. If you have more than one protein meal during the day, but 6 to no, pardon me, 5 to 8, no 5 to 7 ounces of protein if you're doing a lean and green like we would do on our program. We would do five meals plus 1 lean and green, 6 small meals a day. And one of my videos I put on my channel the other day explains the reason why. So you might go there and take a look at that one. Healthy green veggies. Now, we don't have to be green veggies, but they need to be. You want to avoid some of the ones that have a lot of starches in them. That's potatoes, corn, peas, that type of thing. You want to stick with the ones that have in the low glycemic range. And drink plenty of water. That's another clue. A lot of times, if you're hungry, 30% of the time, it's because you're thirsty. So go ahead and drink up first, and then wait 15 minutes. Maybe you won't have to eat at all. And people always ask, why do I lose a lot of weight when I first start a program? Well, the reason is carbohydrates. Hydrates might give you the clue. Carbohydrates is actually like sugars and water combined. So when you get on a program, you're going to start getting rid of the sugars in your body. The water has to go somewhere. The water is no longer needed. So you're going to lose water rapidly. You're going to burn the toxins out of your body. You're going to feel better. You're going to feel less bloated. Your body's just going to operate better. Now, the downside about artificial sweeteners can help you get away from using sugar, which is a good thing. But the downside on these is they still cause cravings. Many have maltodextrin in them, which is a processed form of sugar. Many of them can cause intestinal distress. Have you ever had sugar-free candy and blow up like a balloon later? Well, that's from that. Aspartame breaks down into formaldehyde, and most of them have a lot of aspartame in them. So that's the reason you want to avoid artificial sweeteners if you can. The upside of them is they can help you replace the sugars in your life, which would then help. So the way you do this is you cut down on the artificial sweeteners, and so you're retraining your taste buds, because once you get used to having things that aren't so sweet, you'll actually be used to them, and if you go back to eat something sweet, you'll say, wow, I can't believe I used to eat that. And good for you sweets like berries and things like that. Berries have a lot of fiber in them, and they still have carbs in them, but the fiber kind of counteracts the carbs, so it's not as bad for you, but it still gives you a little bit of that sweetness buzz. Now, at the end of each presentation, I do a little habit of health saying, and this one is: success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Consistency is the key. My friend Bill just loves the curtain when it goes across there. Okay, so if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with me. Put some notes down in the bottom down there. Send me a message or make a comment. And if you like what I had to say here, feel free to share it. Feel free to I would love to have you subscribe to my channel, because I really would like to have more than my wife is subscribed to my channel. So that's all I have for today. And thank you so much for taking a look at my video. And we'll talk some more on some more habits of health here before long. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next time. Hasta luego.